Hey people, what's up? Welcome to another episode of After Credits. I'm alone yet again, all on my own with grapefruit. It seems like the last couple weeks on After Credits we've been talking a lot about the indie movies. Not even the ones like Star is Born or First Man, the ones that are like getting a real big Oscar attention. No, we've been tackling kind of lower on the scale stuff, and I thought we should be talking about some of the bigger releases. So the next couple episodes are going to be me talking about the big releases that I saw during the Thanksgiving weekend. The first being Ralph Breaks the Internet, the sequel to the delightful Wreck-It Ralph. I wouldn't say Wreck-It Ralph is my favorite Disney animated movie, but I had fun with it. It was cute. I always loved John C. Reilly. This one is about Ralph and Vanellope. It's 6 years after the first movie. They're best friends. They go drink root beer and they make fart jokes after work. And, it's a great old time. And then a series of incidents happens. Vanellope loses her game, leaving her and the rest of her Sugar Rush buddies basically homeless. And Ralph and Vanellope decide to go to the internet, specifically eBay, to buy the replacement part to fix Sugar Rush and give Vanellope and her buddies a home. This is a frustrating movie for me. I hate 70% of it. It's like emoji level movie bad. And yet, when the last 25 seconds hit, it hit like a freight train. Suddenly, all the themes, the emotion, the great performances, everything just congealed together, and it worked incredibly well. And it gave this movie a unique perspective that I don't often see in kids' movies, especially one as big as like a Disney movie. The stuff that I hate is a lot of like the emoji level crap, which is the tired, dated internet jokes, the kind of weak world building, the basically corporate commercials. Okay, what do they do with Snapchat? Well, it's a building with the Snapchat logo on it. I mean, heck, the climax of the movie takes place on the Google building, and it's nothing other than it's a really tall building with Google on it. It seemed like with each idea they had, they just picked the first one as shallow and as simple as possible and just put it out there. And this world didn't really feel that interesting to me. There's that random break in the middle for Disney just to celebrate itself. It's like, look at all these properties we have! There's Eeyore, there's a Stormtrooper, Iron Man flies over the screen, and for most of this you're just sitting there like, why are we here? It seemed like the movie just took a detour from the plot in order to just celebrate a commercial for itself. Kind of like that Cat in the Hat movie.
This is amazing! It's like a ride in an amusement park!
You mean like at Universal Studios? Cha-ching.
Now, I will say in that Disney scene, they provided a nice little sizzle reel. That whole princess sequence I thought was actually pretty funny. And, audiences are going to react pretty well to this, so in 2021 there's probably going to be a Disney princess. I would actually be down for like a team action movie. If you could get the Disney Princess Infinity War-esque crossover, I'd be actually pretty down for this. I mean, I won't go into my side rant about how, there are princesses like Princess Kirakagash and the princess from the Black Cauldron that aren't in these movies. Princess Leia isn't in this, even though technically she's a Disney princess now. Mulan is not a princess, and yet she's in there. Sorry. Because the movie doesn't have a separate antagonist, it very much feels kind of aimless. Like they're going from one plot point to another and going to different worlds and meeting different characters, but the conflict never really stays in the through line. There are hints of it here and there, but it doesn't really stay in the focus. The focus is more of, oh, Ralph is now becoming an internet star, and look, there's a screaming goat meme, and oh no, don't go in the comments section, and look at all these pop-ups. Aren't they sketchy? Stuff like that, I thought, could have been handled with more finesse, could have been given a better through line that would have, given the movie, I think, a better package, but instead the jokes were kind of so lame that I started to really get frustrated and annoyed by it. As far as some of the world building I did really enjoy that weird bug-eyed little dude that just pops up in the corner and scares the crap out of everybody. I thought that was so surreal and odd that it weirdly enough worked. Some quick spoilers here, just if you don't want to know that, and just my final thoughts. Scores as 6 stars. Just scroll to the time code there. Like I was saying, with the plot kind of being aimless, it feels like in the last 20 minutes they needed to invent this big problem to happen. So this insecurity virus that Ralph and the scam buddy go by is just kind of an on-the-nose way to address, like, oh, this is a virus, it belongs to the internet, but what's the movie about? Insecurity. Bam! We're just going to put it together, and we're going to toss this at the very end. But I thought what was great was, one, the idea that Ralph's insecurity is taking on its worst form, which is whenever you are insecure, if you let that go unchecked or untreated or whatnot, it can turn into abuse. And he's wanting to keep Vanellope as his. If you're friends with somebody, you don't make them stay with you. I know this is a really weird thing to have to bring up, but it feels like in this era where people feel so entitled to attention and people are so scared of being alone that they would cling on to people and basically keep them in kind of this chokehold. It is something that's relevant to today for kids and adults, honestly. Something I feel like could have been addressed a little bit more in the movie at large. Maybe whenever Ralph is being an internet star, it never really seemed like he really wanted the attention. He craved that. It seemed more like, oh, I'm really excited because these likes will help me convert this to money and help my friend Vanellope. I kind of wanted to see what would happen when Ralph gets other sources of attention and other sources of love. Seeing all those Ralphs kind of like come together, form this giant Ralph. It looks a little goofy at first. It's kind of got that old school Mickey Mouse Cuphead design with the big old cheeks. But then when you look in closer and you see all those little Ralphs like crawling on top of each other, it is kind of an unsettling image for younger kids. And I was like, oh, this is kind of creepy. And it works. Vanellope realizes that, this big Ralph is just gonna get rid of her best friend, and she says, I give up. You can do whatever you want. Don't hurt them. People who are abusers will attack others to get to you. And that message for kids, that's a little fucking real. It's a little too real. But I appreciate that, and I love the sincerity with which Sarah Silverman performs this, and it really does break your heart, especially when you see the glitch, that representation of anxiety kind of pop forward. It's really disturbing and super sad. And then Ralph will come in and go, no, you can't do that. Even though you know that her leaving is going to hurt, that doesn't mean she's abandoning you. It means that people are evolving, friendships are growing, you're moving on. The best thing about friendship is that the strongest ones stay strong and get stronger under pressure and under adaptation. The way he solves it, not, at first that he's trying to punch the damn thing, but he's actually, teaching himself a lesson. I thought that way of conflict resolution was cool. Maybe the image of, all the Ralphs magically turning into dust and disappearing. Oh, look, he learned a lesson, so now that giant monster goes away. It's corny. It's the same problem I had with Tangled, where your world building is kind of eschewed because of love. Whatever. Providing this kind of message for kids and emphasizing it for a family-based audience in a way that is more direct to the point than other movies might have gone around with it, I thought worked really well. And it's working in this kind of trend of more progressive messages for children. We are now taking mental health, and we are taking this sort of emotional abuse more seriously than we have in the past. So basically being blunt, being direct, and being kind of like, you don't need this crazy antagonist to take over the story. You just have a conflict between two friends. I don't know why that's refreshing, but it is, and I feel like we should get more of it. It's after credits. We might as well talk about the after credit scene. So the first after credit scene is the pancake bunny kitty thing that we get in the trailer. It's basically just that scene again, except there's this weird bit of like the little girl talking about how she saw a scene in the trailer that wasn't in the movie and that made her kind of sad. Ha 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 ha, meta joke. It's stupid. And then the after credit scene, I'd heard you have to stay for both of them. Maybe like 30 seconds before the end happens, my wife looks it up on her phone. She's like, oh, it's this thing. We gotta get out of here. So we walked out. And then suddenly from the theater behind us, you can hear, and now, a new preview for Frozen 2. So, back from quick spoilers, Good Humor commenting on the internet, and maybe some of the problematic issues with it seems to be so hard to find because people just go for the low-hanging fruit, and that low-hanging fruit tends to ripen quickly. So you need something a little bit more tight, a little bit cleaner, and a little bit more layered to really stand the test of time. And I don't think most of Ralph Breaks the Internet is like that. I saw people comparing this to a Pixar movie, and it makes perfect sense because this has the problem that some Pixar movies of late do, mostly like Up or Inside Out, where the emotional cores of the movie are so strong. And the story, the world building, the adventure around it just kind of seems to be lacking. Where I think in other movies like Finding Nemo, Toy Story, The Incredibles, the big Disney Pixar movies, those were handled better. And those fit as better packages. This one is kind of like a never-ending jawbreaker that doesn't taste really good until the very end. So I'm leaning, unfortunately, on a 2.5 out of 6. Let me know what you thought about Wreck-It Ralph 2 in the comments below. Let me know if those jokes actually did work out for you, maybe if you liked the balance, the way the story was telling, whatever. We got Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Follow us on all of those at HalfKocked. I think Facebook is HalfKocked Productions. If you want to follow me directly on Twitter, I have it at Royal Screw-Ups. I recently released this month's episode of Shrink Wrapped, which is the Blu-ray haul and the digital code giveaway video. And I put up a bunch of digital codes for giveaway. I'm talking stuff like Logan, Shape of Water, Deadpool 2. So if you're interested in that stuff and you want to find out how you can win a free digital movie, go to that video. I'm going to put it up in the card and probably in the description below. But yeah, check that out and, share your Blu-ray hauls with me and whatnot. It might be fun. I think we are going to be talking about Robin Hood in this little double feature. Yeah, talking about the big movies of Thanksgiving. Robin Hood. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Y'all take care. Bye.